We have an esteemed basketball analyst turned ABS-CBN North American News Bureau Chief, our very own Mr. TJ Manotoc. And he joins us live from San Francisco. And our next analyst needs no further introduction, the iconic voice of the UAAP, Mr. Boom Gonzalez.
Hello, we reunited kami ni TJ.
Oh,
in a way.
Digital,
yes.
Digital reunion.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Miko.
Okay, Boom.
Yes.
Let's give the floor to TJ because he is joining us all the way from San Francisco. So, TJ, give us your all-decade starting five in the UAAP.
All right. First of all, thanks for having me, guys. I know it's a stretch to get me on the show. Medyo pinapuyat niyo ako, but that's okay. Anything for Tito Miko and Tito Boom. Okay, my starting five. This is fun, although I'm not a huge fan of ranking all-time greats, but for you guys, here goes. For my guards, for the top players of the decade, first I'll go with Terrence Romeo of FEU. I'll never forget just how flashy this guy was, but flashy would eventually come with consistency and effectivity. I mean, you can see his resume on the screen right there. He won an MVP, Mythical Team Rookie of the Year. Amidst the fascinating thing about Terrence is amidst all the turmoil that he had to go through early on and some of these issues of cohesion and sharing the ball, all that, he was able to rise up and become such a great player and a great leader for FEU, and he brought them to greater heights. So it was just a fascinating thing to be around as a commentator, to see Terrence Romeo blossom to what he is then and what he is now today. Of course, one of the best players in the country. Kiefer Ravena. You know, one thing about Kiefer Ravena, obviously people may say when you see him in high school, you would have right away say that he's not as fast and as athletic as most UAAP guards. That's pretty much a requirement to be a UAAP guard. You got to be fast, you got to be athletic. But that was not who Kiefer was. What he was one of the smartest players on the court. He would just outsmart you. And that's where he made up a lot for it. And then eventually, the leadership quality, the maturity that he brought along with him in his last 3 years in the UAAP, which really helped Ateneo become such a dominant team in that decade. Rayray Parks is also on my list as a small forward. I have a fascinating story about Rayray Parks. I actually first heard of him when I was growing up, and he was growing up in Makati. We actually, for a while, we lived in the same village, and I never saw him. I heard this rumor that yung anak ni Ray Parks, taga dito, baka pwede natin i-recruit sa Intercolor. But it never happened. But I finally got to know him again when he was supposed to play here for Georgia Tech in the US NCAA. Finds his way to NU and then just becomes dominant with NU. With the back-to-back MVPs. Such great play from outside, inside. The athleticism was off the charts, and eventually he made that team the contender that they were. Obviously, they won the championship the year after he left. And then on my list as well, Belo as my power forward. I just love Belo's effectivity. I called him the silent assassin. Before there was Ed the Kiwag's Deadba face all game long, there was Belo. But honestly, I think Ed the Kiwag does it better. But you'll never forget the iconic moments of Belo, the clutch shots against LaSalle, Ateneo, back-to-back years, and eventually winning the title. I think it was in 2015. Also finals MVP. What a way to end his career. That's the dream, to end your career that way, and Belo was that, and you'll never forget him for that. And last but not the least on my list, Tito Miko, Mbala at center for LaSalle. This guy is the epitome of patience is a virtue, because he and LaSalle had to wait 3 years before he could get on the court. But boy, was that wait worth it. As you can see what happened, two-time MVP, a champion in 2016 as well. And he was just such an amazing specimen, physical specimen to watch. The speed, the power, the intensity, the dominance on both ends. You would argue that if he was 3 or 4 inches taller, and a slightly better outside shot and handles that you could work on, he could probably be even an NBA caliber player. That's just how athletic and how talented Mbala was. So that for me was my top starting five for the last decade of the UAAP.
Well, thanks, TJ. Okay, so that's the list of TJ, Terrence, Kiefer, Bobby Ray, Mac, and Ben. So from TJ Manotoc, I'm going to now go to my other childhood idol, Boom Gonzalez. Boom, your all-decade starting five.
First of all, can't argue with TJ, and we've covered all of these players together a lot of the times also. And I have 4 of his 5 players. The one player that I did not put in my list, which TJ did, was Belo, who was my honorable mention. Love the guy, has major tolerance for pain, never looked pressured when he had approached the game, so I also have to mention Belo. But my choice was, just like TJ, was Terrence Romeo. The Ravena brothers is the difference. Rayray Parks and Mbala. Now, Terrence Romeo, TJ already mentioned, he was flashy. I don't think there was, FEU produced so many guards. You know that, Miko. There's so many talented guards. But nobody danced the way Romeo danced, other than Johnny Abarientos, probably. After Johnny Abarientos, you had the Denok Mirandas, the R.R. Garcias, the Tolomias. It's a different mode. Terrence was flashy, always had different hair, and he delivered the goods. Rookie year, he almost averaged 19 points and 6 rebounds. And then his MVP years, he was at 22. His last year, he was already at 22 and 5. So he delivered the goods, and he broke out when FEU decided to hand him the ball instead of R.R. Garcia initiating, as talented as R.R. was, initiating the offense. He broke out. And I think, he's an obvious choice. The 83 points in high school that he was known for. He averaged, 37 in his last year as a juniors player. So that's a major achievement for him. The Ravena brothers, I'll say, are included, but for different reasons. Kiefer, for the reasons that TJ mentioned. A lot of hype going into college and delivered. Joined a talented team, won championships. Obviously, the core of the championship team left, and even at the time when he had to carry the team, he delivered. Unfortunately, did not get the championship, but he was obviously very intelligent. He was cold-blooded. He liked the big moments, never shied away from it. So, and won a couple of championships. There's no question about it. 30 did it differently. In high school, he was not known in the same mold as Kiefer. He was more the walking triple-double, the more all-around player, and the more Bong Ravena-ish kind of player, even the way he looked. And then people might have forgotten that he struggled at the start and then bounced back, refocused, and it became must-see TV. And I think we were robbed to a certain degree of a couple of individual awards for Thirdy. I think he deserved that. If he were in a different team, he would dominate. But he was in a system team, and still he excelled. So that's why I feel like he should be there as he won those championships and those MVPs. The other player, Rayray Parks, robbed of a Rookie of the Year because he couldn't win it, but he won the MVP in his rookie year. I believe even if NU did not win the championship when he was there, they would not have won the championship if the foundation that they built around Rayray Parks when they made those Final Four trips wasn't there. Because that's where they lost. That's where they learned the lessons of the Final Four and the hurt. But dun sila natuto na parang to get over the problems that they had in the Final Four when Rayray Parks was leading them. But the numbers, obviously, 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on the average. A couple of MVPs. Yun lang, hindi nakapag-champion. Pero yun nga, I think he was part of that championship when they finally ended that 56-year drought. And Mbala, we're used to seeing a lot of the foreign student athletes dominate, but in a different way. The Eques, the Charles Mami, the ones who are like underneath would make space for themselves. He did that too, and then he did a lot of other things. From a guard's perspective too, he shot the threes, he did the crossovers, he had the magnetic personality, he had a charming smile that the cameras loved, and then he gave us highlight after highlight, just like all these other players that I mentioned. And we were robbed of, at the very least, 2 more years of Ben Mbala. And that's what I feel sad about, that we could have seen 2 more years of that. And what could he have been against, let's say, Aquame? Maybe hindi magbantayan, but at least in that era, it would see how they would go against each other in the finals. But the other thing, to end it, Miko, just to end this, the other thing why I chose also these 5 players, is that they got better. They didn't disappear after the UAP. They didn't, that was their career, that was their highlight. They got better as they went along in their careers, and I have no doubt even Thirdy is going to be the same.
Yeah, my all-decade duo, of course, is Boom Gonzalez and TJ Manotoc. Because you guys formed my UAP childhood. I grew up watching the two of you.
You are robbed.
It is a
Of
thrill.
your childhood.
It is always a thrill to be talking to Boom Gonzalez and
thank you,
TJ
Miko.
Manotoc.
Thank you.
Thank you, TJ, all the way from San Francisco. Thank you. And thank you, Boom. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll check out the opening of NCAA football and we'll continue with our series of top fives in the MPBL with the best ball forwards of the league. Kilalanin natin ang mga mahuhusay na manlalaro sa liga ng bawat Pilipino when the score returns.
NCAA Season 95 football tournament is officially open!
Do solemnly promise.
This is the opening ceremony of the football tournament, the 95th football tournament. We really prepared for this. One of the objectives is to produce players who will represent our country, especially in international competition. And this is the time for them to really show their talents and skills here.
Yung lagi lang namin ginagawa, yung 2 months before mag-start yung season, nag-start na kami mag-training. So, gusto lang muna namin trabahuin yung season ngayon kasi feeling ko sobrang excitement yung season ngayon kasi lahat ng teams nag-prepare para dito. For me, it was a great experience playing sa SEA Games this year kasi sobrang nakatulong siya sa akin, especially sa sarili ko. Parang yung dati na nagda-doubt ako sa sets ko, parang medyo nawala yan. And hindi lang para sa akin, na-share ko din siya sa mga teammates ko dito sa San Beda para ma-boost yung confidence sila this season. Feeling ko lahat naman kami magpe-perform.
Kung gusto mo talaga maging professional football player and mas makuha pa yung goal mo, kailangan mo pang sipagan sa training and ipakita sa lahat na magaling ka sa kanila.
So we would like to invite everyone, especially the NCAA community, to watch the football games here in Rizal Memorial Football Field. And this will be a very exciting season for us.